Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. I am John Kenrick.
Wait, there's no thing for you. Hi, this is
Yeah,
William J. McKay, professionally, successfully unemployed actor. John, I have to tell you that we're now at a point now. I used to have every part of my body would leak something in nerves as that thing would go by. I'm feeling much more confident now. Okay, back to our classy show.
Okay. And we have a special guest with us tonight.
If he's still here.
Yes, he is. If you are out there considering a career in the performing arts, let's say acting, writing, whatever, and you're anywhere outside of New York and thinking of coming to this part of the world or maybe the West Coast and starting, this is a show for you to watch tonight because our guest is John Raymond Barker. Hello, John.
Hello there.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for wearing a tie. It's so classy.
Please. Welcome to the 21st century, guys.
That was mean.
No. It's just it's a more casual age. We are going to tonight talk with John about how he's built a life and career both in and out of show business, how he's survived, and Lord knows he does. We're going to go through all that. We're going to also talk about some contemporary theater events afterward. So if you like what you are seeing, that's what everyone will tell you on YouTube, please do hit like and subscribe so you can see more of this in the future. And if you'd like to take part in this live stream, please, we will watch for your questions and comments. We will respond. Just please, by all means, type away, and we'd love to hear from you. So, John, let's get this started. You are originally from where?
I'm originally from Texas, born and raised.
Where, Texas?
Oh.
Specifically in the Houston area.
There you go. It's a big state.
It is big. You drive all day.
Empires smaller than Texas, yes.
Yeah.
And when did acting, theater, show business first make an impression on you? When did you look and go, wow, I might want to do that?
I think it's a tie between two moments. There was the impact of Star Wars on the imagination, creativity, storytelling. But also, I remember going to see a children's theater production in a professional space because they had escalators. And it was a production of Babes in Toyland. And then that night, I came home and I took my Star Wars characters and I reacted the whole thing out with my Star Wars characters and everything. I guess I was really into like the storytelling, the stage pictures, the whole shebang.
You just named two of my favorite things in the world, Star Wars and Victor Herbert's Babes in Toyland. And
both of them go together so well.
I'm trying to picture, Star Wars figures acting out, that would be such fun. So where was your first experience of acting? Was it in school?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely things in, school plays. Okay. My very first play ever, I do know this one, kindergarten, and it was a literal play where they would tear the stairs and they would literally tear the person who hold the sign that says stairs, and they would tear the sign of the stairs. It was a really silly play, but I played the stage right curtain.
I looked this up.
And I had a piece of paper that said that my nemesis, who I don't remember her as anything other than Veruca Salt for some reason. She wasn't Veruca Salt, but in my memory, she's Veruca Salt. She was stage left curtain. So every time I had to close the curtain, stand right next to her and then part. But then because I like to talk, I was the narrator in the church play once. But the real first play outside of class in church was I was the lead in a children's theater production at a community college, a show called The Invisible Dragon. And I showed up to rehearsal fully off book. Last time that ever happened, and made all the college kids very embarrassed. I had a good time and just was hooked.
I love it. Well, Here you are in a school production of Oklahoma.
Yes, I think it's on papyrus. It looks like it's very old paper, doesn't it? No, it was wrinkled up when I scanned it. Yeah, that's my first musical ever. It was the first time I did Oklahoma. I've done it twice, and I was very shy. I was that kid that the director or choreographer had to say, you gotta say it so they're line loud enough that my grandma can hear it in the back row, and I was terrified. And then after that, I was like, you couldn't shut me up. You couldn't keep me from being loud on stage. After I finally got in my bones, it was fun.
Now here I see Audrey too. And where did you encounter that deadly plant?
This was in college, and sadly, I don't know if I'll ever get to play Seymour again. I think, who knows? But I always dreamed I would do it again somewhere. I love, it's my favorite role of all time, probably. And I did do the show again, though, funny enough. They had already cast Seymour, so they let me, I played the dentist, and I thought, well, why not? I'll never get a chance to do that. So why not?
Well, so welcome to the world of aging out, John.
And that's fine. I'll play Mr. Mushnick. What
Exactly. You know, I always dreamt of someday doing an amateur production of My Fair Lady and playing Higgins. I'll be perfectly happy playing Pickering.
Wait a second. Rex Harrison played it at 70.
Doolittle.
Rex Harrison played it at 70.
Yeah, but he sucked. I'm sorry. I saw it. Oh God, he was creaking like an unoiled hinge. It was just, it was sad. Yeah.
And there goes the Harrison family.
How do you really feel, John?
No. Actually, one of the best performances I ever saw him give was his last. He was in a play called The Circle, co-starring Glynis Johns, who was perfectly marvelous. And we didn't know he had terminal cancer at the time, but he plays a character whose dentures keep going loose. And at one point, he's screaming at Glynis Johns, and without any explanation, he simply grabbed his handkerchief and shoved it in his mouth to keep his theoretical dentures from flying. He stopped the show dead cold. The timing was so priceless. So when he was in the right role, he was out of this world. And I saw him play with Claudette Colbert in a play called Aren't We All, where, you know, you got to see that Claudette Colbert, as Noel Coward pointed out, was born with no neck. But what a lovely lady. Now, you got to study at Houston, University of Houston.
That's right.
And you were with Stuart Ostro, of all people, not exactly small potatoes.
No.
And you also studied with Anne Ostro.
Yeah.
And you got to work with some pretty impressive people there. Let people know who this is you're with.
That's Jerry Bach and his lovely wife, Patty. I did 2 new musicals of his where it was his first. Well,
Tell
the first
the audience who Jerry Bach is, even though we know.
Fiddler on the Roof, Apple Tree.
Composer, yep.
Yeah, composer. But on 1040, the musical I did with your Ostro at U of H, it was his first time as lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
And then later I did a show called The Magic Journey, which was basically, he'd written a bunch of children's songs back in the day. He took them, worked them into a children's show with a new book, and I got to be in that. And I mean, the idea of like sitting there and hearing, I mean, Jerry Bach played all the songs, the first, read through, and he's not a great singer, wasn't a great singer, but the passion and the voice, everything was there, and it was just like mesmerizing, to be around him, and what a gracious, lovely man he was, and to do that, to create those roles, sometimes it like catches me by surprise. I was actually looking at and saw that both of those shows are in the Performing Arts Library, and I was like, floored. That's what happens when you work with someone like that who's just amazing and golden and lovely, and that's awesome.
What was your schooling like?
Well, if I'm being blunt, I don't want to offend anybody, in general, but I think I didn't really learn until I got to New York, to be fair. And that may be more about me more than on any teacher out there.
Nothing?
Back was already. Well, I learned things, of course, but I mean, like, I didn't really connect with things like Meisner technique or what have you until I was the Atlantic Theater Company. And that's when I really finally got it. It made sense. It seemed practical.
You also were older, probably.
Older, yeah. And working with Karen Kohlhaas, who is by far my favorite teacher of all time in the city here. She is an incredible person who has taught me a myriad of things about not only acting and auditioning, but also how to live in this city and thrive and not fall apart. She does some of that in her classes too. And it's really incredible. In fact, she kicked off the book that is my artistic Bible. She gave it to us as a suggestion. It was called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. He wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance, if you know that movie or book. Mm-hmm. And this book is a small little book, and you can probably read it in a night, and it will kick your butt. And it did. It changed me. It changed everything for me after reading that book. Life was definitely before and after with this book. but back in school, I mean, I did enjoy what I was doing in terms of like I got to work with Albert Albee a little bit at U of H. I got to obviously work with Stuart Ostro. His wife Ann Ostro was my vocal coach and taught me so much about performing a song and just so much. And then I got to intern with Theater Under the Stars, where I learned a lot. I mean, I just constantly was learning a lot of things, and certainly about like the administrative side of things and how to like be an actor in those situations. But as far as technique, I feel like technique didn't really come to me until I got to New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you worked in a lot of professional theater long before you got to New York.
Yeah.
With some very interesting people.
Yeah.
You did Grand Hotel with original star Liliane Montevecchi, but where was that?
Well, this is the thing. They you know how some of the theaters will do a production and they'll sort of share either the cast or the sets or the whatever aspects of it.
Oh yeah, that's how regional theater happens.
Yeah, it feels like a touring thing. So there was a Pittsburgh and a Philadelphia production of it, not with her. I don't think she was in that production of it. But there were parts of the cast where it came to Seattle, and I got to go to Seattle and joined Liliane Montevecchi. And so there was original cast members from Broadway. There was First National Tour, original London cast, all kind of combined together because Bruce Lumpkin, who was Tommy Tune's assistant, which I'm sure you know, directed it. And we did it in Seattle properly, like, in proscenium. It was really incredible. It was a really fun show because I never once was not acting, and you're on stage the whole show. And it was really lovely how detail was paid. I was a bellboy. I was Kurt Cronenberg.
In fact, having a baby.
Well, no, not him.
Baby?
Not him. No, just one of the other ones. But that's the thing, though. It was still a character because every person on that stage was directed specifically, and it was really a nice way to learn about how every moment is active. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's funny about that, though, is that I wore the costume of the bellboy from the original production, but as you saw from the pictures, I was really fat, and they had to like put panels in the sides so I could wear his pants. I'm like doing the Charleston, like gonna pass out and die, but it was so much fun. It was incredible. Then we took it to Houston and did it in the Round. In 1 week, we restaged it in the Round, and it was incredible.
Oh, okay.
It was an exhilarating experience. It actually worked. It really worked. It was really fun. Yeah.
Right. Now, I was never, although I love Shakespeare, I always had issues with Romeo and Juliet. I think it's the rampant heterosexuality. And then I saw the original off-Broadway New York production of Shakespeare's R&J. Where did you get to do this brilliant show?
This show, this was a good one for me too, because it was at Sages Theater. It was now called Sages Theater, or Sages Houston. I'm not sure yet. Sages Repertory Theater at the time is what the theater was called. And Rob Bundy was at the time the artistic director and director of the show, and he was incredible because I like a director. I mean, I'm open to different directors and different directing types, but I really like a traffic cop director who's like give me ideas. Do a different way, and then chooses like which way we should do it. Right. So we're experimenting, we're writing new moments, and that's how he did the whole thing. Plus, we also really learned how to tackle Shakespeare, and it was a victorious moment for me because I had actually kind of had some embarrassing moments at U of H where I didn't do so well, and I had a moment with a teacher who I love. I adore her to death. I met with her. So I was like, why didn't I get into the Jose Quintero class? You weren't good. And it was almost like I was being told I wasn't going to make it in this business, and why am I even doing this? And I just said to her, well, then the rest of my time here, my job is to prove you wrong. And she sat back and went, that's the right answer. And then she saw me in that production of Shakespeare's R&J, and she gave me the biggest hug. Because she was our voice teacher, speaking, and really good teacher, really. Deborah Kinghorn, I should give her credit. Excellent teacher, and that was validation when she gave me that hug for that role, because
go on.
I'm just saying we played, because I played like 5 different characters in that play. You're playing the nurse. Yeah. Not that I played the nurse. I played the Mercutio. I played Lady Capulet. I played Friar, and a couple other things. And it was exhilarating to do that kind of theater.
It's one of the finest Shakespeare interpretations I've ever seen. The New York production just floored me.
I bet.
I walked out with my ex, may God bless and keep him far away from me.
Every time he mentions him. We should bring him on the show, John, at some point.
No,
he's gotten a lot of airtime.
No, we won't do that because people's lenses will crack, and it's not nice. The tension would just be so palpable.
Moving on.
I walked out. I never had cried at a production of Romeo and Juliet. That one had me in tears.
Did you see John?
Beautiful. No. I wish I had. But no, it was the New York production that I saw. Lots of good people were in that over the course of its run. Now, you were involved in the musical Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It had its world premiere. Was it at Tuts?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they had done other workshops of it, I think, beforehand, but this was the first official production of it. And when we were in the rehearsal room, I mean, we all thought we were going to Broadway because it seemed amazing. Millicent Martin, who's currently laughing it up on Grace and Frankie, she was powerhouse, incredible. And Leslie Dennison was in it as first. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Baby Jane's sister, Blanche. Oh my God,
I was thinking Blanche, but I thought, well, that can't be who he means.
Anyway, I mean, it was a really cool. I love the idea of a horror musical, and I had a lot of fun in that, playing different wide range of characters in it. It just didn't, I guess, work as it happens, and lots of course theories as to why, and I won't go into that because who cares? That's not.
And there's always fear with camp because Broadway doesn't always do camp. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. Now, what brought you to New York?
Well, it took a while to get here, but I finally did get here. Actually, I joined Equity right before I came here. I did the EMC program back then, and I earned it through those different shows we talked about.
Back when you earned Equity, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And so I came to New York to finally, get it done. And to be honest, it's not what I expected at all. Not what I imagined at all.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's like, as you know, I was working with all these different people as an actor, and I was doing all these different shows, regional theaters. And the moment I joined Equity and moved to New York, it was like,
because first of all, when you join Equity, you can only do Equity shows, which is wonderful, but also very stifling. I'm not putting it down because the reason we have to do that is we're supposed to be protected.
It's a trade-off. Yeah.
We're supposed to be protected. But then sometimes it means we don't work.
Now, don't worry, John, we're bouncing around here a bit. But nevertheless, when theater is functional, although you're not acting at the present time in a Broadway show, you're working in a Broadway theater every night when theater's back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is that? Tell folks what you do.
Well, the first survival job I got in the city, and it was through someone I worked with at the Alley Theater when I was doing admin there. Her brother worked in New York City for Drew Jamson, and I got to be a sub-usher at first, and then sub-door person, and then a full-time door person, and then I left and was a sub-usher, and then a full usher, and now I'm back to being a full doorman again at a different theater with the same company. But I've basically been with Drew Jamson since 2003.
So, John.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories?
Oh.
Well, he's met some amazing people.
Yeah.
For instance, the incredible Cherry Jones.
The most loveliest person on the planet.
What was she in at that time?
Of the greatest actors I have ever seen on a stage in my life.
If you were my usher when I was at Dowd,
No, I was the door person on that show.
Oh, okay.
I have seen everyone who did Doubt. I saw everyone who did it on stage. I saw the movie. She messed me up. I'm
sorry, talking about
her.
A lovely human being.
And in the heiress, don't even get me started. Okay, Bill, hold on to your hat.
Yeah.
Wait, who are we looking at? Oh, Christine Ebersol.
Yes, and this is John with his rather handsome husband.
Was when we met. Was it towards the end of Grey Gardens? Yeah.
So you were at Grey Gardens also. Okay, keep going. I'm going to let him go through the run. Then I want to hear the juice. Go on. Okay, that would be. Wait. I know this. This would be Little Night Music.
Yes, Catherine Zeta-Jones, the one and only.
And you said her name correctly. Good for you.
Were you also there with Bernadette Peters?
Yep. And Elaine Stritch. And Angela Lansbury.
That was a great run. I enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
Elaine didn't do it for me, though. I thought Elaine was so strangely focused in that performance, but whereas Angela
was struggling a little bit.
Angela was just it was one more Angela 5 miles out of the park and home run. Unbelievable. Now,
wait.
Yes.
Any dirt?
Well, I do have one story. I think it's okay for me to tell, particularly because she is passed, and I have, before I tell the story, immense respect for her as a person and as an artist, of course.
Elaine?
Rich, yeah. I first met Elaine actually at when I was doing some ticketing for the American Musicals project on the side. She came to do a speech for one of the finale night on Sondheim. And of course, God love her, she came really early and needed a handler. So I was no longer doing the ticketing. I was now going to help Elaine Stritch get ready. And I found out, as I was mistaken on that line, her famous line, it's not the work, it's the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that meant S-T-A-R-E-S. Oh, no. S-T-A-I-R-S.
Yes.
She wants to be, and I don't blame her. I can relate to the idea of not wanting to be like late for queue or have to worry about stairs and logistics and crap. She wants to be right there. And it's a loyalty. It's a noble thing in a sense. I actually respect it. But, it was a lot. It was a lot for, a 5-minute speech she gave, but God love her. And it was a great thing to tell people about. And she took my number, and did left me a voicemail once about maybe going to work with her. I think even on 30 Rock, but I didn't end up doing that. But then come to find out she's going to be at my theater. Well, as I like to joke, she liked to get to the theater before the Phantom or Wicked. I forget names. During the pandemic, I can't remember a single name. Not Glenda, but the other one. Elphaba, thank you. And she's there before they are to get into makeup and everything. And on Sundays, my call time was noon. And ideally, the door person is the first person to be at the theater, to open the door. And I had also had to set up a lot of things along the way, so it was safe for her to get across to her dressing room. And there were things she wanted done and all that stuff. You have to take her bags from the car. I'm walking up with my coffee early to the door, and the door is open. And I see Elaine going in with a new merch girl. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why is my door? What the hell? Well, a porter, of course, she let me in the theater, and he let her. I don't think he was in the wrong for that necessarily, but I was frustrated because it was it's not even noon yet, and I'm trying to get everything done for her, and she's like, well, it's noon, and I said, no, it's not, and she's like, I said, I'm not going to fight about this, and Elaine Stritch, in full gorgeous Elaine Stritch, regalia, I have no intention of fighting about it, and I'm standing there looking at her, angry at her, and also going, oh my God, Elaine Stritch just totally went off on me. Oh my God, that's so amazing. But I'm still being grumpy at her. So I getting everything done, getting her across to the stage. She's like, well, if you don't like your job, why are you doing it? And I'm like, oh. And so get her in the dressing room. I didn't happen to see her for a week, just as it turned, because I was a night door person. So she was in before me, before my shift started. But on Sundays, I usually had to get her bags from the car. Well, she didn't arrive at noon that next week, although they did adjust my schedule. So I would make sure I was there on time for her. I go to, the next Sunday was Halloween. So I opened the car door to get her bags, and I go, happy Halloween, Miss Stritch. Oh, dear God. That's the first time I saw her since the fight. But I forgot muffins every time she gave this away, and I have nothing but love for her, of course. She's
God. Yeah, but she could be a bee on wheels. Now, long before COVID, you knew how to use the internet. Here you are on. Now, tell us what this is about.
Well, this was when Huffington Post first started doing their television type stuff. They would find people around. I guess because I was doing YouTube stuff. They asked me to be on the show. They would have different real people around the country or whatever, what have you. They give us some news stories to look at beforehand, and we'd all talk about the stories. And I took it to be that maybe I should be the funny guy, so I would try to write jokes real quick. And I think I pissed off a couple of people. There's one guy that's on MSNBC or CNN now, kind of big. I'm forgetting his name at the moment. Of course, I can't remember names right now. But he was not happy about me making a pee joke about that French actor. I can't remember any names. Gerard Depardieu. Not having it.
The little things that slip our minds.
But it was topical. It was just in the news, and so another story about him. It was just a perfect leap for me, and he was not. He would be a serious journalist. Go ahead. I did a few of those episodes basically, where I got to be a commentator. I'd make jokes or whatever, simply my opinion about the news.
To give people an idea of some of what you've been putting out on the internet in the past, here is some of your comedy work. And some of your cabaret work, just a brief video, and we'll be right back with it. And we'll be on screen with it, so you can comment as we go.
Starbucks is gay. Hope and I were on a road trip recently, and one morning we set off driving without having our coffee at the motel. Well, I am just delirious without my morning cup of joe. I mean crazy. I was absolutely desperate, but we were in the middle of nowhere. I mean nowhere. So we went to a Starbucks. I could tell I was in the middle of an evil homosexual liberal lair the moment I stepped through those doors. Tarts, croissants, biscotti, environmentally safe bottled water, rainbow cookies. Oh, and lattes. Pumpkin spice. Chocolate truffle. Chai tea. Oh, just sickness. I've never seen so much homosexualness in all my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I am most disturbed by an event that took place on my television set a Sunday ago, June 13th, to be precise. Sunday, the day of the Lord, may I remind you. And no, I'm not talking about the oil spill caused by President Obama. Oh no, I'm talking about something truly horrific. This year's Tony Awards. I have such fond memories of the Tony Awards as a child. Elegance, beauty, grace, and heterosexuals. Over the years, the Tony Awards have become more and more homosexual, not to mention inclusive of the most immoral behavior imaginable, and staged in Broadway theaters for your pleasure for just the cost of an airline ticket.
Can't take our right to love, and they can't break our will to love. This is our life, this is our choice, this is our right that we must voice. What are they afraid of? We're two people that love.
So,
talk about getting it out there. This is what we're talking about. Do you just come up with these things yourself? Do you collaborate on them? Give people an idea of how these things come to be.
well, I mean, all of the above, because it's anything that comes. I'm a very strong believer of best idea wins, of course, and my husband is someone who collaborates with me a lot. But I do. A lot of crazy ideas come to me, and I actually try to execute them. And I think people think I might be crazy. You'll see, especially the last year. But no, Brother Barker came because I was in a thrift store, and I saw a book about gays in the military. I thought, oh, cool. And when I got to reading it, it was actually a propaganda book to be against gays in the military, and all this BS statistics about how awful and dirty and unhealthy gay people were, all the the usual crap. Well, it really inspired me to take that wording and turn it on its head and put it right back at them. So Brother Barker was born. He is a flamboyant ex-gay. It was my way of creating a clown character to make fun of ex-gays, to make fun of the conservative Christians, not all Christians, conservative Christians, and of course conservative Republicans who were being anti-gay, George Bush at the time. So he's a mixture of George Bush and a friend of mine from high school and a bunch of other things all mixed together. And I just had the most fun with him. I mean, he's a fun character to play. He rubs people the wrong way, of course, because of, Poe's Law. You don't know if he's, well, actually, it's kind of like Colbert. I love what Colbert said about how sometimes what he's saying is the opposite of what he believes, and sometimes what he's saying is what he believes. You never know. And I realized that I was doing that with Brother Barker at times. I would say things but they weren't necessarily controversial. They were just like funny ways of getting things in there about whatever it might be. And it's a fun clown character to play. And that Starbucks' gay monologue was inspired by my friend Omari, who was on the tour of Lion King. They were in Tempe, Arizona, I believe, at a Starbucks. One of the cast members ordered a latte and got called a faggot in a Starbucks.
Broadway by Gaslight would like to know which Star Wars characters played which babes in arms parts.
I don't. Well, Princess Leia was laying on some kind of a pylon. Well, here's first of all, we couldn't afford the actual Death Star playset, so my dad made me one out of wood and gray paint, like little blocks.
We do what we have to do.
And so I had this pylon. It's a very UIL one act. If you know the UIL one act plays in Texas or wherever, pylons and things. It was like she was laying on a pylon at one point, being kidnapped or something. I don't have other clearer memories than that, but I'm sure it involves some Cantina characters and some, well, of course, the hero, I don't know what Darth Vader was. Well, I don't remember.
I'm guessing Darth Vader was some version of Barnaby, but what the heck. Thank you, Broadway by Gaslight, for that question.
Yes.
Discuss the Lady Gaga thing. It's long. This is a full effort. I watched it, all of it. I promise. I have to tell you, Born in Hay was particularly amusing. There's others, but that one, I did the whole thing. So yes, I got the marshmallow one for A Star Is Born. I watched the whole thing. Oh, and the choir at the end, where every single person had a different. But anyway, please discuss what I'm talking about. If you go to John's website, you can see
John Raymond Barker's website, and we will put a link in the comments when after the live stream.
But this was huge. So like a lot of effort. How long did it take to do it? I mean,
well, okay, so it began in 2009 when I had I met some YouTubers. It was back when the YouTube thing was really huge. I was part of that scene, and I met a fellow YouTuber that she wanted to collaborate. So I had an idea about doing a parody of Lady Gaga songs at Christmas for her to do, and she didn't seem to like it, I guess, so she didn't do it. I said, well, screw it, I'm going to do it. And so it began with like 4 of Gaga songs.
I was thinking, was there a Lady Gaga? I thought at first you were serious, and I was going, she did a Christmas album? I'm trying to look and going,
she's done some, like, that one song, and she's done some, like that Thanksgiving special she did.
A couple of Baby It's Cold Outside, I think.
And there's that, yeah. But no, it basically took her songs and made them, and also the idea of the costumes being, all her looks being parodied as she wore the wreath to the MTV Awards, so it was like, hello, a wreath. You know, and then the crown, bad romance is like the British, you know, like crowns. So it was, you know, every year the Muse would just hand me more parodies of her songs, and I kept building onto it every year. So that by the time we got to the pandemic, I ended up with 33 of her songs parodied as holiday songs, not all necessarily Christmas, because there's a couple of Jewish ones
and other things. Yes, you did.
Yeah, and
down to offend everybody. It's so good.
But it became just so much fun. I mean, it's one of those projects where I could not do it. I couldn't not do it, and it became more amazing the more we realized what we could do with green screen effects, and it was just a lot of fun, and building costumes out of Christmas decorations, and it just. But the parody writing is probably my proudest part of it. Is that I couldn't believe, like, how do you rhyme paparazzi? And when I got stocking tchotchkes in my head, I went, oh. I'm there.
How did you choreograph your John? I already know you've seen this, but I'm just going to pretend that we haven't seen this. Okay. I mean, at one point, John number 1 over here, is I know. Welcome to my world. Moving right along. So John number 2, John Raymond Barker, is doing Lady Gaga, but he has a full, you know, his backup dancers who are him, which he had to film. You had to make them move at the same time.
Yeah.
How did you do this?
Randy Rainbow, eat your heart out. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, he's very good.
Oh, he's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Randy, we've said here before, we adore him. God bless.
He's very, very good. Well, obviously, pandemic, I didn't have the option of having other people do it. I mean, if they film their own parts separately, but I mean, no, I was just going to go ahead and do it, and it became a fun challenge, right? So and a friend of mine was like, "Why don't you just have yourself as a backup dancer, and then just multiply the?"
At first, I thought you were doing that, and then I said, "No, he's not."
There were 4 distinct
movements were different.
Yeah, there were 4 distinct backup dancers. I sort of in the spirit of like Madonna's Truth or Dare movie, you know, where you know the dancers a bit. I had little characters for them. Each of them had a little personality, and it was true. One of them was straight, so when they're doing some of the most outlandish things, he's kind of like butching it up and stuff. I mean, it was just little quirks to make it. You know,
he was the one that was the most awkward. He would occasionally be slightly off. Yes, but
yeah,
then the choir, and then we'll stop. But the choir had like 50 people in it. All of them.
That was so much fun, and that's why
were differently dressed.
Yeah, my husband did a great job on the makeup and wigs, and I did a great job as an actor, playing all those 16 different characters basically in that one moment, plus the characters in front of them. So I mean, that was my like Jersey Ullman, like I'm kind of a badass for a moment. You know, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a great outlet for the pandemic.
To give people an idea of just how badass you can be, tell us what we're looking at. Here's the other side of what you've done too.
Well, this is definitely that one golden moment that you know, I actually was at a point where I thought maybe I was done. I thought it doesn't happen.
What every actor goes through, John. It's when you give up that suddenly something comes in.
When I wasn't looking, when I was jaded. That's why I met my husband. It's cruel and rude. You should be able to have it when you want it, you know. But anyway, I go over the audition, and it was magical to get that phone call from the agent. It was like,
tell folks what we're seeing.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I got to guest star on Law & Order SVU. And I mean, out the gate, guest star. That was like a dream come true. And it was, because I'm probably spoiled for life by those damn people because they were so incredible.
Mhm.
They did me so well. It was
Plus,
a
you get a
wonderful.
line that says, "I've been waiting to do this for 25 years." His character says this, and I
I
started
know.
to laugh.
I was thinking that. I was thinking this is so like me, as well as it's the character. But saying that, but yeah, it was glorious. I mean, I'm literally like realizing that I'm going to be acting with Ice-T, legend, badass, incredible human being, and all these other actors, and of course, oh my gosh, Marisha Hargitay. I had met her as a door person. She's one of the nicest people on the planet. She's one of those people that sticks out as one of the nicest people to ever come backstage.
Everyone
And
says that.
she was so lovely as well, as everyone was. Every single person was so lovely, and just I'm probably gonna be spoiled for life, because I'm sure it won't be that way everywhere. But Marisha, what she did for me was I have that one line where you see me through the glass. And they had to say it a few times to cue her, and then they're like, "Oh, you can stop saying it, John." And she actually had me keep saying it. And to me, it was like a teeny little scene. It was like she was honoring me as an actor, and it's, I'm saying, like, it was like that was cool. She didn't have to do that. I don't know. It felt nice.
John, there's a statement that I think was in the New York Times about, it might have been about extras, but it doesn't matter. It stated that if you are a New York actor, that would be you and me, and we have not been on any version of Law and Order, either we are brand new or we're not very good. John, I have not been on any Law and Order.
You've also been part-time for a long time.
I do not feel good about this. But
No,
you
you were on All My
thing.
Children and One Life to Live. Hello.
I was, but that's not what the New York Times said. The New York Times says if you have not been on Law and Order,
Because New York Times
you are
forgot
not
about
very
soap
good.
operas. That's why.
Which wasn't it, Christopher? Oh my gosh, I really don't remember names during the pandemic. My brain's just like flooded with like, whoa. Christopher. Oh my gosh.
Go on. Well, maybe we'll help you.
The part in Shrek.
Siebert.
Gorgeous actor. Thank you.
Chris
Thank
Siebert.
you. Isn't he the one that has in his bio never been in Law and Order?
Yes. Maybe it's him. Yes, somebody says yes.
Has that in his bio.
I'm gonna try to work on Law and Order and go, look, I'm an old new face, so hire me. I could be the judge that nobody's seen before.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, during COVID,
during
you didn't just sit home because the theaters were empty, and you didn't just create a few little fun things on the internet. You put an album out.
Well, that was actually before pandemic, to be fair.
But that is when it came out. Was it not just last year?
No. Well, this is why you probably thought that. When I first put it out, I thought I screwed it up. I thought I messed up because it wasn't doing too much of it on my own and thinking I could, and realizing, but Pandora accepted it, so obviously it's not a terrible album because Pandora doesn't take crap. So I'm very proud of that album. I'm very proud of the writing of it. I probably could stand to remix, remaster it, re-record it, take it to the next level. I've realized a lot of people who independently produce their albums probably have the same problem. Yeah, we're not all Billie Eilish and Phineas, who also recorded an album in their living room or bedroom, whatever, and they won the Grammy. I did not. That's okay. They're awesome. And I did not do that well. And but I love my album.
Each one's a learning process. Now,
I haven't won any awards either, so we're all together. John, you.
When Pandora accepted it, I was like, okay, maybe it's horrible. I started to promote the album more. I started to do more promoting of the album, basically.
I was trying to read the titles because this I did not know. John just threw this one at me, but they looked like they were fun titles.
Oh yeah, I wrote 8 songs in one summer for it. I had already written one for Jared when I first met him, called Our First Christmas Together. And I wrote 8 more songs and add some other fun covers in there, and it's really fun. And the great thing is that the final track gets Shazammed a lot because it's weird. I threw everything in this album, including the kitchen sink, which is flying around in space in the ending. You'll have to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. It's really another moment where I get a weird idea, and I think, why not, and just do it. So I mean, I love the album. I think it's a reason to have an album, is why I did it the way I did it.
You definitely like Christmas. You definitely have a Christmas thing.
I know, right?
Inspire you.
Hey.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. I'll be the next Wayne Newton. Is that who Christmas guy? Yeah.
he was one of them.
One of them, yes.
Yep. Well,
not that I would know because I'm way younger.
The Christmas guy was Bing Crosby, but that's another story.
Well,
yes. Album. That's
why
you were evoking that classic.
Again, not that I would know. I read about it in a book.
Now, one thing Bill and I are bringing back is a set of questions that
we're at the end.
That did fly by. Yeah.
Hey,
I told you. I didn't tell you, but trust me.
Great conversationalists always have great conversations. It was originated by French television personality Bernard Pivot. on French television based on a questionnaire by the great Proust, and was used on the Actors Studio by the wonderful James Lipton. So
if you look on TV, you can see me every so often sitting in the audience. I was on an
he was
airplane
in a
once
lot-
as a flight attendant. I
he
was
was in-
walking down the aisle and I was on the TV. It was
All right.
really good for my ego.
there you go.
Well, it's still good to see stuff on TV, isn't it? Yeah.
So, John, starting, what is
Yes.
your favorite word?
My favorite word. I'm a Gemini, so this is torture for me.
Yes.
Probably imagination or like kaleidoscope. Something
Right.
fun, playful, young, and lots of vowels.
Okay.
What is your least favorite word? Oh, this must be good. Look at you.
The reason it's like it's also a dig at my industry. It's like every time you have someone on stage being interviewed about a play or a musical, well, the journey of the character and the journey and the journey and the journey. And I'll say it sometimes, and I'm like, don't you say that word. But pamper also annoys me. Pamper.
All right. What turns you on?
Body hair.
I didn't expect.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And
Sorry.
what turns you off? I guess nobody here. Yes.
This is a comment. No, because I don't like it all. No, the rudeness. I think it's a common answer, but it's so true. I mean, being rude, being rude, just, racism. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
I have the same answer as you, Bill. My husband's laugh.
What noise do you or sound do you hate?
When you're outside there, when the person that runs the building, I can't remember any words or names. I'm telling you, they just go. The person, you're super. When he doesn't change the damn batteries on the smoke detector.
Yes, which only go off at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Editing, and you don't know if the beep's in the footage or if it happened live, and it ends up in your video on YouTube. Makes you
Okay.
insane. Beep.
You can say or spell as you feel more comfortable. What is your favorite curse word?
Like Brene Brown, I come from a long line of really eloquent Texas cussing women. My mother could hurl a beautiful motherfuck across the house, and I love that.
I'm going to knock you so low you're going to have to roll down your socks to shit. That's Texas, yes. From Beth
Did that come out of
Morehouse.
your mother?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, since I do everything, right? And directing everything, I can't say any of that. No, actually, I side part of me was like astronaut. I dig space
Really?
stuff. Yeah, I sort of did that. Even Houston's are probably part of it.
Well,
but I,
if you make enough money when you become a big star and you cast me in whatever it is that you become a big star in, you can buy a $250,000 seat.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Apparently, you don't
Yeah.
stay up there very long, though.
yeah.
What profession would you not like to do?
Anything that involves raking leaves.
Okay.
That's my least favorite thing I think in the world. Maybe.
Bill?
Anything that involves raking leaves?
Yes, it's
Oh,
like it's like hurting cats.
Okay. Not there's anything wrong with cats. Oh my God, you just
I love
lost
cats. I love
John
cats.
one.
No, John knows where I
Yeah,
stand.
but
But
hurting them, forget it. Yeah.
leaves are
Okay.
worse.
Bill, you get the
Yes, I forgot to write this down. It doesn't matter. I attended the school for 3 years. It's something to do with you've gotten into heaven, and what would you like God to say to you as you enter the pearly gates?
Here's what he's going to say. Boy, you are lucky. But what I hope he says is kind of similar to what you said, Bill, but it's bigger than that. It's this idea of
I feel so paid attention to.
I do. I still haven't told the teacher thing yet, by the way.
Okay, we'll do it right after.
We have a lot of things to say. What I want for heaven to be, you're there for all eternity, is you can visit any moment in time, anywhere in the universe. No harm. You won't cause harm to yourself or to anything in history. But you can
Like our
observe.
town.
So you can find out what happened in historical events. You can go to Jupiter and explore that red storm that's happening there. You can go anywhere in the universe and explore and just be a tourist. See
Okay.
shows.
Now, what did you want to say about teachers? 'Cause
Well, no,
you-
I was really, I thought it was very beautiful what you stood up for actors last week when you said that, there are people who will tell you their opinion and they'll be negative or whatever. I mean, opinions we get so many opinions, and I got to a point where it sounds awful because I know we always keep learning as actors, but like I get tired of opinions sometimes. I get to a point where I can't take any more opinions. I can't do with all these too many opinions because I mean people will go and tell Audra McDonald notes if she were to take a class. I mean they give her just to give notes or just to fix something or just to change something or make it more assimilated. And it's like no. Sometimes the most wonderfully ugly things in our voices are what makes us a star or makes us wonderful or interesting. But what I want to add on to your comment is that I have notes because
Wow.
number one, I think there should be a sense of appropriateness when asking someone about their technique or discussing technique during the class. If I'm not there to learn technique from you, or if it's a very short class, we don't have time to go into that, and I don't want to go there. I reached that place of standing up for myself. I don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't want to have a little session with someone and talk about technique. That's personal. That's like religion almost. But the big thing is, Brene Brown is. I'm a huge avid follower of Brene Brown. She's changed my life this year. And one of the things she had was a wonderful man named David Engelman on her show. He says the brain and how the brain works, how it evolves, how it grows, how it, everything. And he said something that just really made me feel so much better because people always want to ask you how you did it or about your technique or they'll judge you for how you word or how you say it or whatever. And the reality is that the reason why people say, it takes 10 years or 20 years to become a great actor is that the more we do things and become pros, experts, our brain literally burns it onto the hard drive of our brain. So it's easily accessed. It's just
10,000 hours.
And it does not have much energy needed to access this. It's just effortless, right? And so if you ask Serena Williams how she does what she does, she couldn't tell you. You asked her to think about it, she'd probably start messing up and not be able to do it. When people start sucking themselves out,
Right brain, left brain. Yep.
You can't do that. And I think that's probably why. I have a theory. I may be wrong. When they say things like, Meryl Streep has imposter syndrome sometimes. She'll walk onto a set and feel like, I shouldn't be here. Because I bet you she cannot articulate everything she does. Because she's been doing it for so long and so wonderfully, she probably can't. But she probably has obviously a technique she knows about. She can go to. She can use tools. She can obviously. She's one of our most gifted actors, ever. But she probably can't articulate all of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's why sometimes even someone like her feels imposter syndrome. Is because we can't always articulate it. It is organic and natural in our blood and our bones. What we do, our talents. When I get an idea from the muse about something, I can't always tell you where that comes from. I don't have to. So I thought I wanted to offer that to you. Those thoughts that we have to take pride and respect for ourselves. Yeah, we're in that moment right now. I think.
We're going to do a very quick look at a few current events. We'd like you to stick with us and join in on discussion. This week, we got to see the and hold on, there we go. We got to see the ending of Schmigadoon. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too.
Very much, yeah.
But I do want to put in a special word about Jamie Camille. He played the doctor who lives in the town. And I have to say this, the dude cannot sing.
Oh my God. Wait, he what?
Sing.
Oh, he cannot
can't sing. Cannot sing.
He looks pretty.
I didn't care. It was just so pleasant to have the visual. Now, for someone like me who did not watch Jane the Virgin, I never saw his Emmy. I never saw his Emmy ad, which I love this. I love the way they put it together. Dear Emmy voters, you're welcome. And then with that photo, yes. So you can't complain about something like that. I just say hallelujah.
Oh yes, praise.
Oh, yeah. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord for a good view. Now, both Bill and I got to see Respect this week.
Yeah.
Jennifer Hudson, wow. And I'm not the biggest Mary J. Blige fan, but I loved her in this. Oh, look, the music has never been better treated, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And this girl who plays young Aretha Franklin, her name is Sky Dakota Turner. I would envy the fact that she got to do scenes with the divine lady who you see her with here. But
who is that, John?
Audra McDonald.
Right, I know that. I went, both of you answered.
She's a lovely human being.
But this girl is going to be huge. What a talent. She at the screening I saw on Saturday, the audience was saying, "Who the hell is that girl?" The woman behind me. Who the hell is that girl? And how do I find her?
I thought the movie was too long, but I thought that Hudson was surprised. Her voice, not just her singing, the way she spoke was surprisingly on target. And I thought the acting performances, like almost across the board, were really surprisingly like very good.
A lot of critics said that it's formulaic. Well, yeah,
The movie was.
It's a film bio. It followed the formulas, but I felt it followed them a lot better than Judy did. I thought Judy left a lot to be desired dramatically.
I like Judy better.
I loved her. I didn't love the movie because remember, I dealt with Judy Garland's real final husband, that slimeball. He was not this wonderful person that he is in the movie. There's nothing wonderful about him except that he's a wonderful schmuck. Now we have a hot new musical in the world. There's a new hit musical. Andrew Lloyd Webber finally opened his production of Cinderella, which not only apparently has a lot of comedy, but as you can see from this photo,
amazing horses.
Yes, and a lot of beefcake.
And a very, very suggestive dress.
Yes, it really does say a lot, doesn't it?
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Now, and this is and one other story I wanted to get to very briefly is a man named Christopher Massimine. He was head of the National Yiddish Theater, the Volksbühne, for a while, and was very much behind their production of The Yiddish Fiddler on the Roof. That was a huge success. And he went off to work for a theater company out in Phoenix. And out there, the press discovered that he had falsified his resume. He claimed he had a master's degree in drama from NYU when he had a bachelor's in English Lit. He claimed he had a National Arts Award from an organization that it turns out no one can find the existence of in any way, shape, or form, and had a photo of himself speaking at the podium in the White House press room where he apparently has never been. So that led to his withdrawing from public life, resigning from his job, and announcing that he has suffered for a long time from mental illness. Ow. That is just so. Kids out there, if you didn't do it, don't get a job by lying about what you've done before. It is one thing to say, "Yeah, I know how to dance," when you don't know how to dance. That's dumb enough.
I never say that.
That would be dumb enough. But to say, yeah, I studied with Stella Adler. Really? You are 19 years old and you studied with Stella Adler? How the F did you do that? People will figure that shit out. And finally, I get a minor headline this week, so I'm going to throw it in. I was interviewed by CNBC for an article that appeared at the end of last week on their website.
Oh, yeah.
And up until now, and that's the article, so we've seen it. Up until now, all of theater media, Playbill.com, Broadway.com, Theater Mania, has been very tactfully, and New York Times, has been tactfully ignoring the fact that although Broadway is reopening in September, no one's going to be there. Aside from about 3 or 4 performances total of all the shows put together, you can walk into practically any performance of the big hits, Hamilton, Wicked, etc. They're not getting ticket buyers right now. And this article,
they're just not selling out.
They're not selling. They're not selling. They're selling terribly. In some cases, it's going to be embarrassing, the turnout for major shows. And what I said in the article was, this is life and death. This is something that needs to be addressed and not hidden under a rock. And there are people in this business who are furious as hell that I opened my mouth about this. I got all kinds of flack. I didn't attack anybody. I said this needs to be dealt with and not brushed under a carpet. You do not fix something by pretending it's not happening. That's like saying, the pandemic is going to be gone by April. Yeah, that was a brilliant thing to say. Well, this is right up there.
Well, it should have been. It should have been gone. It should have been. But
yeah. It's just, you got to talk. We got to talk about it. I don't think discretion is the worst part of ticket sales. You don't sell tickets with discretion. Are people, I mean, right now, how would each of you feel about being in a theater that's at capacity. Do you feel comfortable?
I have tickets.
But
I have tickets. I have tickets for multiple shows. I
you
guess
are a cancer survivor and recently had surgery. Do you feel comfortable sitting in a room full of people?
I really want to see company. So
That's not what I asked you.
You're also eligible for the booster, I would imagine.
Yes,
right?
I am. Not yet, but I will be.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it
well, I want to
part
say this. I don't think I have a feeling it's not going to come to pass. What I mean by that is the concerts are starting to cancel. Garth Brooks just canceled his run. So are the others. I am hoping that Broadway isn't going to do that, meaning I hope that it will get better. I'm concerned. What happened, I wanted to say, is when John informed me of this, as he should during the week, and my first reaction was, oh crap, they're going to cancel us too. What is happening to him? They're going to go after him. John, just be quiet. Just be good. Just shh, don't say anything more. No. When I read it, and my husband read it, we all agree. What he's saying has to be said. I have a feeling, sadly, I have a feeling that shows are going to postpone. At least
They have got to pay attention to what happened in Australia and London and avoid those traps.
And right now, Australia's in worse shape than we are because they've got something like an under 30% vaccination rate among adults.
Yeah.
Their country, they had a president.
They were doing well, and then
but they trumped it on the vaccines and said, we don't need them. Don't bother. And they soft pedaled it. And now they're going into the worst of what they've been through. I would tell this to everyone out there who's watching us. Do remember, go by history. I'm a historian. Go by history. In 1918, one of the worst years was 1921. Literally, the year was one of the deadliest because that was when that flu virus reached out into parts of the population it had not gotten to the first 2 years. It took the third year. Now, here we are going into the third year of this. And this is
second, really, technically.
It's called COVID-19 because it began in 2019 in China.
Do you know what I noticed though about I'm sorry to cut you off, but you watch the graph, right? And as the graph's grown, I realized we hadn't hit that third wave yet.
No.
This is the third wave.
No, here it comes. Watch out. The third wave, and I'm told even with tsunamis, the third wave is the killer. Look out, everyone. So
the difference is that we had a vaccine and they didn't have a vaccine until the 40s.
Right. That's right. But when people had a vaccine and people put politics into it, to all you people out there who think that vaccines are going to hurt you, grow the F up. Grow up. Please, grow up. We don't need this anymore. We don't need to watch children die in their classrooms this year because you were a schmuck when it came to getting a goddamn vaccine. Get your vaccine. And if you know someone who hasn't gotten their vaccine, stop playing nice with them. Smack them silly and drag them to the doctor.
Can I offer something, though? I read a really, really excellent article, though. I believe it was The Atlantic. There's a lot more nuance to this. I think if there are a lot of people who literally cannot take off work to get a vaccine. Like there's a lot of details around the country that are, if we're especially in the spirit of anti-racism and in the spirit of trying to be really mindful of different privileges levels and stuff, there are more nuances to it. My anger with your anger is towards those who are being defiant and being ridiculous about this. You know, we still have to be mindful that there are some people who not just about health reasons, but for literally economic, literally access, literally a lot of other reasons that are valid. Are having a hard time getting that done.
No, there are those with valid reasons, and that's different. And that's not a majority of the people who are not vaccinated. That is a small number. Everyone out there, please take care of yourselves. Yeah. John, you please continue to take care of yourself. We need people. Thank you for showing people you can have a life in this business and that creativity is the key.
You gotta make
creativity keeps you going no matter what the heck may change and no matter what the heck the unexpected comes.
That's true.
You better, what I always tell my students is you better have some rubber in your family tree because you got to bounce. In this business, you've got to bounce back a lot. Bill, stay well. John, stay well. And everyone out there.
John, what's our next show?
Our next show is going to be on Tuesday because Thursday I have a speaking engagement on Long Island. So we're going to be doing a show about why do gays love Barbara Streisand.
Oh,
And we're going to have some fun with that one. So if you are into the Babster, please join us that night. And John, be well, all of you. Thank you so much. Our pleasure, folks. Have a great night.